Hello and welcome back to the Chapter 6 lecture videos. This is a short lecture video, just covers a few more things about activity-based costing. So we say, as I was saying in the prior lecture video, it just kind of started to run out of time, but I just want to reiterate this, that adopting activity-based costing usually results in shifting those overhead costs from high-volume products to low-volume products. And the reason that this is because with ABC, we're not just using volume-related allocation basis. We can be using number of setups, for example, which is a non-volume-related allocation base. So when you allocate overhead using a volume-related allocation basis, high-volume standard products will get more cost. But when you move away from only using volume-related allocation basis to those volume-related allocation basis that don't necessarily vary with volume, but vary more with complexity, then those products that are lower volume but higher complexity products will get more cost. So that's what happens with ABC, and that's the benefit with ABC, is it removes those cost distortions that stem from only using volume-related allocation basis. Okay? The other thing is that it does include some period costs, and it does rely upon subjective data, which is one reason that auditors would be a little bit leery of using it for external financial reporting. Some benefits of ABC: it can provide more accurate costing, reduces that undercost, overcost due to volume-related allocation basis, and can lead to improvements in cost control. You have a finer level of detail of where your costs are coming from. The limitations is that it's more expensive to maintain, and it does include fixed costs. So when you're pushing that down to the unit level, then you say, okay, I see it costs us $10 per unit. Well, and then if we're going to make another 10 units, you might say 10 times the 10 means it's going to cost us $100, but that's not quite right, because remember, it includes those fixed costs. That would be true if it were only variable costs in the cost per unit. But once you put fixed costs in there, that will not be true. Okay? And this is, again, reasons for different overhead costs between ABC and traditional. Traditional assigns all overhead costs, not just product costs, but, what I say over here, let me rephrase that. Traditional costs, all overhead costs, regardless of whether they're caused by the product. That's not the case with ABC. So, again, for example, customer-level activities were not assigned to that product with classic grass, right? They were assigned at the customer level, not down at the product level. Traditional uses only volume-related allocation basis. I've talked about that quite a few times. And ABC assigns non-manufacturing costs, period costs. Traditional only does product costs, manufacturing costs. Implementing ABC requires a lot of top management support. Okay, it's a big change, involves a lot of effort. Okay, some signs that an ABC system may be useful. You have significant amounts of indirect costs that are allocated using one big cost pool, and then only a few of your indirect costs are identified as batch level product or customer level costs. You're identifying all your indirect costs at unit level, but maybe they're not unit level, maybe they're more batch level, product level, or customer level costs, and that will influence how you assign those costs. Okay? The last thing I want to talk about with Chapter 6 is activity-based management. It's a tool that involves analyzing and costing activities with the goal of improving efficiency. So ABC, remember, the focus is on actually going through and figuring out the cost of those products. ABM is on managing the activities themselves and using ABC to figure out where our costs are coming from, and then to improve efficiency and reduce cost. Okay, so it's focused on process improvements. So, for example, ABC would allocate the cost per equipment setup. ABM would focus on ways to reduce that setup cost. Okay, ABM still requires the costing activities, and once those activities are costed, the manager can identify where the costs are too big. And of course, this would involve some benchmarking to figure out where they're too big. Okay? So we look at the major steps in activity-based management, determine the major activities, identify the resources, and then you're going to have to identify some benchmarks against other organizations, and then figure out ways to reduce the cost. Okay? That concludes Chapter 6 notes. Thank you.